Dan Otieno, could you just, what is mental health?
Mental health is a very diverse topic. We have, over time, had these instances where people take mental health for what it's not.
Okay.
And it's a broad topic. And this one, it's more geared towards how well is someone, both emotionally, physically, biologically, and as well
even biologically.
yes, because if you look at mental health, you just don't look at one aspect. You look at the biopsychosocial effect of it. So the bio stands for the physical, and then the psycho stands for the emotional, behavioral, and all those other stuff. And then when you go to social, then how is your status or the mental space you are living in affecting how you interact with your environment and the people around you. So when you look at all those aspects together, then you come up with a very meaningful definition of mental health. Yeah, but you can't look at it in just one spectrum.
Single dimension.
Yeah. So you look at the social, psycho dynamic, and then the biological aspect of it. Yeah.
So it's a holistic around thing. It's just everything literally about the individual in a sense. Yes. Because sometimes, we talk about mental health here in the city, but explaining it to a wananchi, your grandfather down there, becomes something very, very tricky. But just recently, statistics and research was made, and we found out that about 14 million Ugandans are dealing with mental health challenges.
That's a staggering number, because that means 35 out of 100 Ugandans are actually suffering from something that's affecting their mental health.
Yeah, that's very, very huge, and we're about 46 million Ugandans.
I lost count. We are many.
We might be more because in the COVID era, people were very busy. Okay, but what are some of these, when it talks about mental health challenges, what are some of these things?
Mental health challenges range from very minute aspects to the very large aspects. So when you look at every individual that walks the streets of Kampala, at least you'll spot someone who's going through a mental health turmoil. But most people have made it seem like mental health has to be something very big. You have to see somebody walking either naked, carrying bags, carrying dirt,
stones,
and shouting and all that kind of thing. But mental health starts from the smallest stress.
So if you see people moving on the streets talking to themselves, could that be?
They don't even have to be in the streets. In office,
like the man is just walking.
In office, you see them just talking to themselves.
So it's beautiful that you're laughing about it.
Yeah.
But you see, sometimes you see someone talking to themselves. They might be doing it unknowingly. Yeah, it's unconscious.
Yeah.
But you look at those kind of instances, someone talking to themselves, they're always just either moody, someone is very angry in the morning.
Mood swings.
They have those kinds of mood swings and all that. But you asked me before, what are these mental health issues?
Yes, what are these?
So we have stress. Most of these things start from stress. So we have stress, we have when it grows, it becomes depression, and then that one you end up with another mental health issue. We have issues like bipolar.
Yes.
We have schizophrenia. We have personality disorders, where you have different kinds of categories of people dealing with different kinds of personalities. So that it's a very broad thing that you need some kind of assessment, and maybe seeing a professional for you to be able to actually know which kind of mental health problem am I dealing with.
Even in its mild state. Because I think people go to the medical doctors when, it's no longer mild.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's always advisable that you deal with it when it's still young. We have a saying in Swahili that says that samaki mkunje angali mbichi. Like the only way you can fold a fish is when it's still fresh.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you have, if you notice maybe signs that you are going through maybe some emotional turmoil and all that, you need to actually find help early enough before it becomes something much bigger. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So you need to find out where you are. So does that mean that that most of us are candidates to check it, like to visit either a counselor or a psychologist just to check and see?
I won't say all of us are candidates.
Yes.
But the thing is, if you realize things are not going on well, the signs are always out there. Because sometimes you are at work, you have all these things that you can't deal with, your family there, your work there, you have all these kind of things going on. So the moment you realize that you are not performing the way you used to perform before, you need to sit yourself down and ask yourself if there's anything beyond what work is giving you that maybe is leading you to have all these kind of things going on in your life. So if you realize that, then maybe we can say that you can seek help of a professional to help you deal with these kind of things. So one aspect that maybe when it comes to work, there's this thing we call employee support programs. So those employee support programs, they have maybe you're dealing with work stress, so you seek help from a professional, either a counselor, a psychologist, who will help you through those some of these things, because maybe it's not just work, but it's something that you carry from home, or maybe from somewhere else that you then you they add up to the work stress, and you become a little bit maybe overwhelmed. Choose to stay away, isolate from the whole other people. So you find that they go through these things silently, and then they end up in a very bad place where they did not actually intend to get to. And the second thing that we find lead to so much mental health issues is poverty.
Right.
And if you look at our African countries, and I will maybe limit it to Uganda for the benefit of maybe correction, I will say that we're still very low in terms of the way we live in terms of our livelihoods. At some point, I think in 2006, the life expectancy of a Ugandan was limited at 49 years. And then it increased up to 55. So we're still doing very badly in terms of finding ways of lifting people up, because when you look at most economically empowered people, they get to a point where they can actually have enough time for themselves. Because when you have to really wake up every day to fend for yourself, and when you're doing this, you're not fending for yourself because you're getting enough. You're just getting enough to get by the day. So this one comes with a lot of stress as well. And we are very active when it comes to adding more people.
Absolutely.
So you're going out there. What you are getting is not even enough to sustain you individually, but then you're still making a lot of many other mini yous around. So you get extra pressure to actually get what you need, get what your family needs, and also get what other people need as well, because you realize that we are a very dependent population.
We are quite dependent.
Yeah, so once maybe Che gets a job, there's someone else
Everyone
who wants to benefit from that.
Freedom has come.
Yeah, so all of us need the person who is working to get us to maybe feel comfortable or something like that. And we find that in families where people have tried to make it, people become very, very, very entitled.
Yes.
So if Che is working, I should not be seen wearing certain kind of clothes. I should not be seen eating in certain kind of restaurants.
Because there's too much pressure.
There's too much pressure. I should not be seen doing what? Maybe walking to work or boarding a boda to work. I should be driving, or I should be in Che's car. Che should give me a car so that I can drive to work. So we want to live this kind of life that we cannot actually be able to afford. And poverty comes in to hit us in the right places. I'm not saying, and then we end up with what? With so much issues that we need to deal with. We have pressure, we have all this kind of stuff. We want to live a certain life that we cannot afford, and all these things going on. So it even comes to the point of, let me use the female gender. I'm not saying it's only them who does this, but this thing of poverty will drive them into doing things that they actually
would not do on a given day.
Yeah. So you find somebody wants to maybe get, they have the pressure. Their friends are having iPhones. They're having these cool cars. They're going to these nice restaurants. They want to go to the beach. Somebody saw the friend in Diani, so they also want to follow them to Diani. You see, so you find that they have all this pressure to make it in life very fast.
Comparison.
Yeah, without actually going through the right process. So they end up with these kind of things that nowadays people try to look at as normal, and it's not normal. Yeah, you see somebody going out with someone's husband just because the husband can provide this much kind of.
People go those extremes.
Yeah, they call it soft life. Yeah, they want this soft life. You see, so after that, they end up with several.
With the hard life.
Yeah, because in the meantime, you get an unwanted pregnancy here and there. You have they go through abortions and all that. Someone goes through, maybe they get really heartbroken. Because maybe the wife found out, and now you have to go through all this. Maybe they're threatening you, they're doing all this kind of stuff, and then like a typical African child. You go and think of what if they bewitch me and all that.
All of those things.
So you get into this space where you're actually not comfortable in your own space. So so much of poverty is also responsible for what we actually going through.
Wow.
Looking at functionality and functionality mostly, and how to restore someone back to their physical stature before their mental deterioration.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I mean by functionality is this: when you look at all the mental health issues, they take you to a space where you cannot do certain things that are regarded as productive. Yeah, because when you look at someone who's depressed, they can no longer function well in terms of working, socializing, and also just living their life in a way that is considered as normal. I'll use the word normal with very much precaution. Yeah, because
normal varies.
Normal varies. Yeah.
Yes.
So when you're going through mental health rehabilitation, you're actually going through a process of restoration to a level of functionality that is regarded as productive. Yeah. So the main purpose is to get back whatever functionalities you lost before seeking help.
Yes.
You see, so in a day-to-day basis, you realize that there are things that you do. Like for instance, when you get to a point where when you wake up, or maybe you just, you wake up but you don't leave the bed. And it's not that you're not leaving the bed because you want to sleep, it's because you don't have the desire to actually leave the bed.
Yes.
So in that case, we say that you've lost initiative. Yeah. So things that seem very normal to do start becoming very burdening.
Yes.
Yeah. So you find that even things like brushing your teeth in the morning becomes a burden. Just opening your eyes becomes a burden.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything that you are used to doing becomes really hard to do at this point. So generally you just lack the energy to do anything. You lack the initiative to actually do the normal things that you are used to doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So the purpose of rehabilitation is to make you realize that whatever space you've gone into is not going to be very effective in a day-to-day basis, so that you actually do some kind of maybe introspection, or you seek help in learning better ways of dealing with whatever you're going through. So you might be either maybe you are retrenched or you lost your job and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So most of our African setup, we don't have processes where we take people through that process of maybe retrenching or maybe firing people. So you find that you want to fire someone, but you don't take them through that process of debriefing and all that.
Yes.
So when you debrief someone and you maybe take them through the right procedures, they go home knowing that I was not fired because I was ineffective and all that, but I was fired because maybe the company is doing what? Doing poorly in terms of revenue and all that.
Right.
Yeah. So we have to come up with systems that help individuals learn some things before we do certain things.
Yeah.
So this kind of help that I'm talking about also entails you doing what? Maybe referring these people to the appropriate places where they can go through those processes of coming to terms with what they have lost, all these kind of things. And that is where places like Africa Retreat Center comes in. Yeah. So you get in there, you get the help you need, and then you get back out there and bounce back to your feet. You go through the right help that you need. They will identify the problems you're going through, and they'll identify maybe certain issues that you need to do differently, and also work on getting yourself into a better space of living. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, amazing. We have just about 2 minutes left. Just very quickly,
Yes.
Even as the government released these results in conjunction with the Uganda Counseling Association, how best can the government effect policy, or how can the government intervene in order to, to disrupt this pattern or whatever this is? How best can government be involved in helping people, to better their mental health wellness?
Thank you, Chair. So when you look at mental health generally, I'm not going to start with the government. All these things, they start with the individuals,
Right.
the population, the general population. Before we went to for a break, I was mentioning 3 things that actually lead to mental health issues, and I left at some point where I was supposed to tell you about stigma. You see, before we break the stigma as individuals, there's no way the government is going to help you break that stigma on your own. The government can only come to sensitize you on the issues of mental health, but as a community, as a population, what are we willing to do so that we don't look at people who have mental health issues as people who are suffering from spiritual curses and all those kind of things? Maybe they have been bewitched and all these things all these myths that we've put around mental health. So we need to look at as much as we're looking at the government, I know the government is supposed to effect policies that aims at, one, sensitization, availability, and empowerment of people who come in to help with issues of mental health. So when you talk about availability, government, the policies should be geared towards not just centralizing mental health issues to certain places.
Right.
Like when you look at the context of Uganda, we've concentrated too much resources to Butabika, which is actually overwhelmed.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to empower other facilities or other areas where we can actually get the desired mental health help. And another thing, I talked about availability, sensitization, and empowerment. We have professionals outside there. We have counseling psychologists, we have clinical psychologists, we have psychiatrists, and all that. And it's a general knowledge that Uganda has the least number of psychiatrists.
Is that so?
Yes.
In on what scope? The least number was like in East Africa.
I think in East Africa we have the lowest number of psychiatrists as compared to the population that needs the help. Like if you look at the statistics, they just said 14 million Ugandans need help for mental health issues. You see, in these all statistics, not all those 14 million people will be able to access the mental help that they need, because of the availability of certain of the relevant facilities where they need the help. So when you talk about things, institutions like maybe Africa Retreat Center, those are just a drop in the ocean, you see. But you realize that the government needs to do more in terms of availing this kind of help. So those the policies that they need to maybe implement needs to focus mainly on those aspects of those three aspects of those points that I was detailing. So,
well, we'd like to thank you so much for taking the time and just sharing with us this morning.
Yes.
I know that we can still access, the Africa
Retreat
Center, and just your number as we sign out.
I'll leave the facility number.
Yes.
The number is 0703 874879, and my personal number is 0708 293 842.
Okay.
So if you need any help with mental health issues, please don't fail to reach out, because we always say that prevention is better than cure.
Yes.
Yeah.